To presenter and sheep herding sensation Matt Baker to hear all about what's happening across the weekend and what it's like to walk out the gates on the first day.
Well, I'm proud of it. I'll be honest with you. I am really, really proud of it because, country shows have been such a big part of my childhood growing up, and to sort of be part of creating one that people are so willing to turn up to, and people just want to get involved, and they want to show their kind of appreciation for the program, but they want a really good time, and there's so much stuff there, and it's actually that moment, and you know what families are going to experience when they go through those gates, and you know what's kind of lying in wait for them, and I'm so excited about that, for people to come and just have a really good time as a family together and see so many things and learn so many things and be introduced to so many things that probably they never even knew existed. And at its heart, that's what I try and do with Countryfile anyway. On a Sunday night, it's all about saying, look at the kind of stuff that's out there, now you go and explore it for yourself.
But when you're on television and you're presenting Countryfile, you never get to meet your public. And I think that's the great thing about a show like this, because yeah, for anybody that's ever been to Countryfile Live over the last, the couple of years, obviously this being its third, you are walking amongst all the Countryfile presenters. You do filming there. You might be having a beer in the Craven Arms next to the man himself, John Craven.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, that's the whole point of the Craven Arms. It's just for somewhere for John to go for the entire 4 days. And he sits at the end of the bar, and you can go to sit. It's like Father Christmas. You can go in, you can download all of your problems. No,
you can even sit on his lap.
No, but in all seriousness, you're absolutely right. Yeah, we're there for the entire time, and we do talks up on the stages, and you can find out about our lives, and how I managed to farm and do TV at the same time. So I kind of tell my story, as do the other presenters too. But yeah, we walk about, we meet people, we get close to our viewers, and they can ask the things that they really want to ask too. But for me, our audience has always been the most important thing. And I learnt my TV craft back in the day on Blue Peter, and I was there for almost 8 years, and our kind of audience and that contact that you got with them was always key. So we were always making a program for our viewers. It was never about anything else for me, and that's really what I've kind of carried on with, even with the One Show and Countryfile. That kind of ethos of the only reason you're doing it is to show people what's out there. And so to kind of have the opportunity to chat and find out what's working from viewers' perspectives too is actually really important to me, and I'm always really fascinated by things that people have remembered or things that people have been inspired to go on to do, and that's the thing with this show, is that kind of the best elements of what we do on Countryfile are there. So there's kind of a behind the scenes area as well, where you can go and work out how the program is made and the edit suites and all this, that and the other, and then you've got it obviously into the animal side of things, where you've got all of the kind of the heritage breeds and that kind of passion for British livestock, which is really key for me. And then also the farming side of it. We've got Adam's farm there as well. These huge bits of machinery that you can get up close to, you can go and sit in the cockpit of, and there's just so many things for me to see families getting out into a little boat, or even have a go at paddle boarding or something like that, you know what I mean, or fishing for the very first time, and to see that happen is magic. It really is quite something. And I've talked to a lot of people that have been there over the last few years that we've done this, and they've said, we can't wait to go back. It is just the best time we've had.
Well, I grew up with agricultural shows, and sort of competing in them and just being there. And
what was your thing? What was your thing? When you say competing in them?
I'm an equestrian, Matt.
Are you?
Yeah,
okay, good.
I'm an equestrian, so I was sort of doing all that. But I do love an agricultural show, and I get just as excited as you do. But actually, last year, I was walking around the grounds with Tom Heap, getting lashed by the rain. The landscape is a very, very different landscape this year, and of course, the heat wave returns come Thursday.
Yeah, for sure. So absolutely, bring your sun cream and bring plenty of water as well. I mean, we want to kind of keep plastic bottles down to a minimum, so bring your own little water vessels and this, that and the other. But thankfully we've had a bit of rain over the last few days, which is, I can feel the trees are just thankfully breathing again, but yeah, really choked, really barren, and it's been a real challenge for those feeding livestock and this, that and the other, and growers and what have you. So we're just gonna have to wait and see the repercussions really on harvests this year. But people will be talking about the year of 20 2018, won't they, for a long time weather-wise?
Absolutely.
When you think of the beast from the east, those extremes that we had at the start of the year, and now here we are with record-breaking temperatures. It's just been quite remarkable.
And Matt Baker will be at Countryfile Live, taking place at Blenheim Palace this coming weekend. It starts, of course, on Thursday. I will be there live on Thursday between 10 and 1 to bring you a flavour of the event. We will go back to my conversation with Matt Baker in just a couple of moments' time. After you've been hearing from my guest, Matt Baker, this morning, he's been telling me why he loves the show so much and how, working as a farmer, flies have been a big problem in the heat wave.
Thankfully, we sheared quite early on because it's a bit hideous, but what can happen is that flies can get into sort of damp fleeces as well, because we had such a wet spring. And then I don't want to go into the details, but anyway, they end up laying eggs and this, that, and the other, and it's really quite grim. So getting those fleeces off early and getting plenty of shade for your animals. I mean, we're fortunate as well. We have a lot of woodland that our ewes can get into. But yeah, it's been a real challenge, and just getting the water, as well. Sometimes farmers in fields don't necessarily have pipes that go all the way to their fields, so transporting water and all that kind of stuff can be a real logistical nightmare.
Absolutely. Whenever you've got an extreme weather, I mean, years ago, I remember we had such an extreme winter, and there I was out in the middle of the night, sort of cracking the very, very thick ice off from the water trough for the horses. Absolutely terrible, and sort of being totally cut off from my yard as well, and going down on a little 135, Massey 135, just to get some hay out to the horses and things like that. So
but weirdly, that's why we love Britain, don't we? The extremes. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to make you appreciate, though, doesn't it? When the season turns and another challenge comes along. I've visited so many countries around the world that have that kind of bland, kind of just 1 month sort of blends into another, where at least where we are, we have that kind of vibrancy of crazy extremes, and it keeps everybody on their toes, that's for sure.
But this is another side of Countryfile, because and sometimes people criticise the fact that Countryfile doesn't really show they show more the glamorous side of country life, which I take whatever, but actually but
it's an interesting point. It is an interesting point, and actually it used to be very much a rural news program when it was on in its Sunday morning slot, and when it moved to that kind of prime time slot, then it had to change into more of a lifestyle program, because for me, it's all about inspiring people to get out and explore our landscape and get some kind of contact or just a degree of understanding with what farmers are having to do. This is not a program for farmers now. This is about the landscape that farmers farm in. And actually, if you can promote product in a different way, that actually it can only be good for business in the future. That I'm sure lots of people who are new to the concept of farming don't need rural issues banged down their throat at 7 o'clock in that kind of time frame. Because when you think of the diverse audience that we have, my children sit and love Countryfile and have done ever since they were young, and I'm thinking right up to my grandparents' age. We've got such an incredible diverse age range of people who are watching the show. And what we try and do is introduce concepts and, yes, introduce issues. And hopefully they're a starting point for people to go and explore further. It's not the be-all and end-all to say there's the beginning, the middle and the end of this issue, end of story, job done. For me, that slot, BBC One, 7 o'clock, is actually a celebration of the British landscape.
Actually, we are all custodians of our countryside.
100%, yeah.
And if what you do is inspire people to get out with their children and actually walk across the countryside and see the land from a different perspective, and inspire children to actually maybe even go into an agricultural career, then all the better.
Yeah, and actually, the whole concept of the whole Countryfile Live was with that in mind, because we thought, how can we create a practical way of giving people the experiences that we so want them to go and find for themselves, but actually put it on for them right there and then. And that's the aim with Blenheim, and we're going to be doing it as well up in Castle Howard, up in Yorkshire as a north version, which is going to be happening next year. But this is the point. This is the whole idea. You come through those gates and leave it to us. We will give you all those wonderful things and those wonderful experiences that may lead to a future that you didn't expect. But come and trust us. us, and we will give you the best 4 days. If that's what you want, that is what you will get. And also, we've got a music festival as well this year, Kat. I don't know if you know about this. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, well, I have, yeah. So tell us more.
Well, Bob Harris is going to be presenting it, and it's going to be on from 6 till 9 on the Saturday night. So the way, we were talking about how this kind of thing's grown over the 3 years. Well, this is one area that I am really, really chuffed about, because I love my country music anyway. I play guitar, piano, I enjoy singing and all that kind of stuff.
You're
as well.
a talented man, Matt Baker.
Well, I keep myself busy. But so Bob's going to be up there, and he's going to be introducing the likes of the Shires and Newton Faulkner. We've got Ferris and Sylvester there. And so we're going to have a really lovely Saturday night as well. So you do have to pay extra for those tickets, I might add. But it's going to be something else. It really is.
Well, thank you to my guest, Matt Baker, Countryfile Live, by the way, at Blenheim from Thursday. This show live from Blenheim between 10 and 1. And I do hope I don't get bitten by a ferret.